The story opens in 2036, when a civil war has started in Eastern Europe. U.S. troops have been deployed as peacemakers to a frontier controlled by Victor Koval, a criminal warlord who is considered a ghost, as only a few people have ever seen his face. The Pentagon deployed robotic soldiers known as Gumps to counter Victor's growing power. A U.S. troop of 40 soldiers led by Sergeant Miller gets ambushed and is forced to retreat. But seeing that 2 of his men are stuck, the sergeant decides to do whatever he can to save them. Meanwhile, this whole situation is being monitored by a soldier named Harp on the other side of the world. Harp sees a hostile truck rushing toward the soldiers, so he asks for permission to fire a missile from a drone he controls. His request is denied as it will result in the death of 2 soldiers, but Harp sees that the truck contains a launcher that, if not destroyed, will kill all 40 soldiers. Harp decides to take matters into his own hands and fires the missile, destroying the truck and killing the 2 soldiers but saving the other 38. Harp is sent to Camp Natalian as a punishment for his actions until he can pass his assessment test, where his CO is Captain Leo. Reaching Camp Natalian, Harp meets with Colonel Eckhart and asks him where to find Captain Leo. Harp tells Eckhart that he has been sent here because the committee thinks that drone pilots like him can benefit from experiencing the war zone, but Eckhart tells him that it's all a lie and pilots who do something wrong are sent here as punishment. Harp killed 2 military officers and should be in jail, but someone must think that he has some value, that's why he got sent here. It will be good for him if he manages to survive, but if he doesn't, it will be a lesson for others like him. Harp reaches Leo, who first gives him a hard time, after which he tells him that they have to deliver some vaccines. Leo gives Harp an NDA, and after Harp signs it, he tells him about Victor Koval. Leo says that Koval's goal is to take control of the nuclear missiles silos from the Cold War era. They have to deliver the vaccines to a clinic where Leo's informant will give them information about Koval. Leo gives Harp some normal clothes, and as Leo takes off his shirt to change, Harp is shocked, seeing that Leo is not a normal human. Leo reveals that he is a prototype of a highly advanced android super soldier. He asks Harp if he trusts him because if he doesn't, he will sign his release paper right now. But Harp decides to go along with Leo. Leo says that Harp and Eckhart are the only people here who know Leo's identity. Harp is confused about why he was brought here even though he doesn't have any field experience when Leo says he selected him because he needed someone who thinks outside the box. As they prepare to leave for their mission, Harp gets beaten up by some soldiers following the order of Sergeant Miller, the leader of the 2 men Harp killed with his drone attack. Harp says that no matter what he does, his men are not going to come back. Harp and Leo leave the camp and start their mission, but they get a report that one of their aid trucks was attacked and is now blocking their path. This causes a standoff between the armed locals and the U.S. Army, but a Gump shoots one of the locals, who throws a rock at him. Seeing that the situation is getting out of hand, Leo gets out of his car and tells his men to lower their weapons. He now leaves his gear and goes to the leader of the locals, persuading him to move the truck out of the way. Seeing this, Harp is surprised and asks Leo how he did this so easily, and Leo replies that he just told them that he had to deliver the vaccines and gave them the aid truck. As Leo and Harp argue about whether Leo made the right decision, they get ambushed. Leo tells Harp to get the vaccines and asks his men to take care of the situation as he and Harp are going to walk to their destination. Leo and Harp reach the clinic, and as they deliver the vaccine, they get sniped at by one of Koval's men. Leo manages to hit the sniper and starts questioning him, but seeing that he isn't answering, he leaves him to the patients at the clinic. Harp tells Leo to call this in as it can get the higher-ups to make a task force, but Leo says that they will take 3 days to make any decision, and they don't have that much time because if Koval's men are here, that means he isn't far behind. As they leave the clinic, Harp says that Leo told him they will get info about Koval after delivering the vaccines, so where are they going now? Leo replies that he didn't say they would get the info from the clinic. Harp starts getting suspicious and refuses to go with Leo anymore unless he tells him everything he is hiding. Leo tells him to walk back to the camp, but he should think about how long he will survive alone, which makes Harp go with Leo. They reach an orphanage where Leo's informant, Sophia, is present. Leo asks her for info about Koval, but she is hesitant to say anything in front of Harp. Leo says that she can trust Harp, after which she tells them that she thinks Koval is very close to getting control of the silos. Nuclear weapons can only be deployed upon obtaining access codes, which were securely stored in a vault by an agent following the conclusion of the Cold War. Sophia believes that Koval possesses information about the vault's whereabouts, but she herself is unaware of its location, so she directs them to a man named Oshlak, who knows the vault's location. As they reach Oshlak, he tries to run away, but Leo beats his men and catches him. Oshlak reveals that he sold Gumps to Koval's men and tells them the vault's location, after which Sophia shoots him in the head for being a traitor. As Harp and Leo go towards the vault, Harp says they should call for backup, but Leo doesn't agree. Harp asks Leo at what point does he consider that he has crossed a line. Leo reveals that the moment Harp leaves him, he won't be able to do anything and will stop if Harp asks him to do so. Harp realizes that all this time, he is the one who has been crossing the line, as he could have stopped Leo at any point. Leo says they are the only ones looking for Koval, but he should tell Leo to stop if he wants to walk away. Harp doesn't want to give up now, so they continue their plan. As they reach their destination, Leo asks Harp to remove his tracker as the Russians can detect its signal. Afterward, they go into the building and see that the civilians are being held hostage by the Russians. Leo tells Harp to call Eckhart and tell him that Koval is in the building and also asks Harp to rescue the hostages. Leo starts fighting against the Russians and their Gumps, whereas Harp takes all the civilians outside the building, where he sees US Gumps. He radios Eckhart, explaining the current situation to him. Now, some Russians and Gumps come out of the building with more hostages. Harp tries to calm them down, but the US Gumps starts shooting, which causes a gunfight to break out, resulting in the death of some hostages. Harp rescues the hostages that he can, after which he radios Eckhart and asks when the Marines are coming as the Gumps have gone out of control and are even shooting the civilians. Eckhart reveals that no one is coming as he has ordered a drone strike, so he asks Harp to get away from the building. Harp is concerned about the civilians and Leo, but Eckhart calls them collateral. After the drone strike, Harp rides with Leo but can't stop thinking about the dead civilians. Seeing that Leo has got the codes, Harp asks him to call it in, but Leo has no intentions of doing so. Harp tries to order Leo to stop, but he says he can refuse a person's command if they show erratic behavior. Harp has been acting weirdly since the start of this mission, and even destroyed Leo's only failsafe. Harp says that he thought it was a tracker, but Leo says it doesn't matter as Harp destroyed US tech. Harp also says that because of the drone strike, Eckhart thinks that Leo is dead. Harp now tries to grab his gun, but is stopped by Leo. Harp tells Leo that he owes him more than this for what he has done for him, but Leo knocks him out, saying that he just saved his life. Harp wakes up on the side of a road and gets taken by Sophia's men. Sophia tells him that Koval is alive and Leo has gone after him so he can get the nuclear weapons. She explains to Harp that Leo has realized that the US is the enemy, as they are prolonging the war for their own agendas. Harp tries to convince her that she can't trust Leo as he is a machine and will probably take the nuclear weapons for himself. He says that Leo is going to nuke the US, but Sophia doesn't seem to care as she lets Harp go, saying that he should just go home as there is nothing left to do. Meanwhile, Leo meets with Koval, asking for the location of the nukes, but when Koval doesn't do so, Leo kills him. On the other hand, Harp returns to the camp and explains the situation to Sergeant Miller and Colonel Eckhart. They have a hard time believing him at first, but Harp somehow manages to make them trust him. Harp now calls his old friend and co-worker Bale and asks her to track the car Leo is in using the drones. Eckhart says that he can't deploy his men to the area Leo is in as it will cause a war with the Russians, but Harp says he will go himself. Miller asks him what he will do once he finds Leo, and Harp says that he will call it in and asks Eckhart to use a drone to destroy the missiles. Miller now prepares a car for Harp, and Bale continues providing Leo's location. Bala loses the visual on Leo and sends Harp Leo's coordinates. As Harp reaches his destination, he sees that Leo has already taken over the area. He manages to reach Leo, but Leo disarms him, asking Harp what he is doing here. Harp says that killing is not the way to solve this problem. Leo tells Harp that he killed 2 men to save 38, and now he is doing the same thing on a larger scale by killing millions to save hundreds of millions. Leo starts choking out Harp, but he empties his gun into Leo's gut. Leo still keeps going and makes Harp unconscious, after which he starts the countdown for the missile launch. Harp wakes up and starts hitting Leo with special bullets that are made to go through even armored trucks. He almost destroys Leo, and as he is on his last legs, Harp asks Leo how to turn the missile off, but Leo says it can't be done. Harp questions Leo as to why he did all this, when Leo reveals that his main goal was to shut down the creation of more fully autonomous robots like him. And for him to do so, he has to destroy himself and his creator, the US. He wants the war to end, but robots like him are the face of a never-ending war. Eckhart asks Harp to confirm that Leo is in the building so they can fire the drone missile. Harp tells Leo he is wrong and says humans can change and learn from their mistakes. He tells Eckhart that he has eyes on Leo, who asks Harp to get out of the building as Bale launches the drone missile, destroying the nuke. Eckhart requests a response from Harp but receives no immediate reply. Amidst the growing concern that Harp might be lost, he finally breaks the silence, saying that the mission has been successfully accomplished.